Okay, I think I'm live. All right, so welcome. Good morning. A lot of stuff going on, and I'm excited to be back on a live stream. I'm just going to share this link one more time to get the people in, and then we will get started. I'm going to spend about an hour going over some things, and just bear with me for 1 second. But thanks for tuning in. Now. Okay, there we go. All right, I think we are good. So anyway, got a new Mac. I want to do a lot of content. One of the biggest issues for me always, and this is kind of like a barrier for entry for a boomer like myself, as far as doing streaming and creating content, is man, we suck at technology. Like I wanted to stream last night, but it didn't work. I spent about an hour trying to fix it, tinkered with some things. I actually ended up fixing it, but by that point in time, I was already all stressed out, frustrated. I'm like, you know what? We'll give a crack at it tomorrow. But we're good to go. I'm excited about doing new content. I think it's very important right now to stay engaged with crypto, even though like we'll pull up the chart right now. I mean, clearly Bitcoin as well as stocks not looking great. This is rough. It's rough stuff. A lot of people are going to throw in the towel in the upcoming month or so, even weeks, and they'll never come back. And that's a huge mistake. And one of the mistakes that I made in my first cycle was during the bear market. I pulled back. I was dealing with all sorts of shit like depression and whatnot. And when you sit there and constantly think about what you could have had and all the mistakes you made, it's not productive use of time. So I actually ended up pivoting and trying to learn how to become a better trader, because when I first started, I was just a noob following, people on crypto Twitter and YouTube and whatnot, not really understanding how price works and trading. So I don't have any regrets for learning how to be a proper trader during the bear market. However, the thing that I do regret the most was kind of like buying into the this is all a Ponzi, which it kind of is in a way. Most of the stuff in cryptocurrency is not like 90% of it won't have value, but not immersing yourself, if you don't get involved, you don't make the connections, you don't get the networking, you don't find out about the newest trends, and you end up missing a lot of stuff. So my regret for last bear market was kind of pivoting away from that, just zooming into like the 1 minute chart, trading like a maniac, and ignoring all the fundamental stuff that was happening in crypto. That's why I missed NFTs, because it wasn't something I was paying attention to. I missed DeFi summer. I wasn't involved with that. And this time around, that's not a mistake I'm willing to make. I'm going to spend this time being active on YouTube, listening in on spaces on Twitter, watching podcasts, talking to people in Discord and Telegram. Like I saw a tweet from a friend of mine, this guy, Trading Theory, who's awesome. He said, in trading, the hustle mentality is bullshit. You can hustle yourself broke basically, like by over trading, and I agree with that. You don't want to, spend all this energy when there's no trade to be made per se. However, in crypto, the people that hustle end up getting ahead, and you hustle in different ways. It's just like, like Tate says, you got to work your ass off, and it's the key there is defining what work is. And I think absorbing as much information as possible, making networks, connecting with new people. Um, this is how you win in a bear market, in my opinion. Obviously, if you don't know how to trade and you don't understand that, it's also a good time to brush up on it. But you really want to prepare yourself for the next cycle and be ahead of the herd when new trends emerge. So I made a tweet and it said like history repeating itself, and I just want to go over some things that will kind of show you what I mean by that. So like obviously every cycle is different. It's not going to match exactly the same. But back in early this month, September, I identified an interesting fractal. A fractal is basically a pattern of repeat behavior that at the time was actually quite relevant. Nobody was talking about it. Um, if you're involved in crypto, you may have seen the photo of Vitalik and his member. He was Vitalik, the founder of Ethereum, was wearing these joggers, and he had a massive bulge in his pants, and it went somewhat viral on Twitter. So I just want to say that the giant Vitalik dong pump is very reminiscent of Romano ass eating narrative. This sounds obscene and absurd, but all of this is true if you're new to crypto. So crypto bear market bounce being justified by a perverse and hilarious narrative. Okay, so this is on September 2nd, 2022. And if you weren't around in 2018, this was right around here. We'll zoom in. So 2018. If you look at the dates, this pump right here, comparing programmer ate ass to save cryptocurrency. So August 29th, 2018. Here's the article. Cryptocurrency prices are down. So developer met up with cryptocurrency enthusiast and adult film porn performer Brenna Sparks and Bobby Dillon to eat some ass and save the market. So the whole thing was this guy Romano, who created Viacoin, I believe he's an OG, became a good trader, and he's got a good following. Romano had never eaten ass, and there was a bet that, if he ate ass, that the market would go up. And it actually happened. I think it happened in Vegas. But if you look, it was right around here. So this bounce that was then sold off, then the market got really flat and dumped. So with this whole thing with Vitalik's dong, it was kind of reminding me of that a bit. And we look at where it was in position of the market. So you had been downtrending from December to August, 6 months, 8 months, whatnot. And then support breaks and you get capitulation. So the reason why I'm saying it's repeating and it's super important actually is we look right here. So it wasn't the exact same day, but this was the Vitalik's giant dong pump. And look how it sold off, now breaking down again. And now we're back on support for Bitcoin. And unfortunately, being that this is a 3-month range, if this breaks down, the likelihood of a capitulation candle, another one, right, that's severe and then goes into another range is quite likely. But that was pretty interesting to me that, you had this weird stuff going on. People are clinging to any sort of bizarre narrative they can to justify price going up. And simply it's just people were caught on the wrong side of this move and now it's being sold off. So that was one thing. The other is Jamie Dimon comes out and slams crypto tokens again, right? This is this September 21st, 2 days ago. I remember very vividly that he came out and said basically the same thing, calling it Ponzi, everything is worthless, in September of 2017. So this was, we're going way back now. It was right around here this week. So are you seeing a trend, guys? Because if you've been following along with me and listening into spaces and stuff, I've been saying for a long time now, a couple months, that late August, September is going to be a bad time for crypto. Like basically, you could have sold in August, walked away, come back in at the end of September. And there's a reason why. September is typically a very bad month for all markets. But this was the Jamie Dimon initial pump that led to the high. I'm not saying we're going to get the high right away, but it's interesting that Dimon is coming out. And, as a Korean Jew, when I think of September, I think of a couple things, right? I think of, Labor Day, school starting again. and the high holidays. You know, people like to meme about, you know, Jews run the world and this and that. But the reality is Rosh Hashanah, which is the Hebrew New Year, and Yom Kippur, these are the two high holidays. They usually, around that time of the year, there's a saying, you know, sell Rosh Hashanah, buy Yom Kippur. These sayings don't come from nowhere. You know, if you look at the charts, I'm not going to do it for you right now, but go back and look at it and see how Bitcoin has performed in September historically. At least the past 5-6 years have been awful. So, you know, being that we were getting this bounce, I was saying, you know, mid-August, late August, start to take some risk off, wait for the dust to settle. But not only is it the high holidays, on top of that, we have a Shmita year. So what does this mean? This is every 7 years, it's called Shmita year, right? I'm giving you guys some Judaism here. Shema. What is Shmita? The sabbatical year. Torah calls for Jews to work the land 6 years and let it rest in the seventh. So basically, in the seventh year, you're not supposed to do shit. Like, you're not supposed to plant seeds. You're not supposed to do, you know, you can research this yourself. But we are in a Shmita year, which is about to end. So that's a good thing, right? However, looking at what we got here, Rosh Hashanah is on Monday, I believe, and Yom Kippur 10 days later. You know, let's see where this ends up, right? I think it will be time to start planting seeds again once this resolves. But anyway, what else? Oh yeah, one more thing. I had one more thing. FOMC. Rates got raised by 75.75%. This was expected. If you listen to Powell, he kept using the word pain, not a good sign. Further, like he's basically reinforcing what he was saying at Jackson Hole, and nothing has changed. Inflation is still rising. It's not something that's going to change overnight. The good news is October, there is no FOMC, so you won't get another one of those meetings, but December, November and December is coming. Powell said 1.25% raise for the rest of the year, so you'll probably see 0.75 and 0.5 in December, unless something massive changes. But it should start to go down a little bit. That being said, like it's not good. It's not. We're not just going to come out of this. I think basically what you can expect here is if this wave were to go on Bitcoin, you're going to see something like this, you know, like that. And then you'll do this again. And this will be the ultimate bottom. But this is kind of like, we could see if how accurate that is. But if this wave breaks, like, you don't want a knife catch right away. It's going to take a longer amount of time to recover. However, I do think that even buys at the bottom of this range, like if you have a long enough time horizon, they probably will end up being fine anyway. But if you have like powder on the side, don't use it all trying to buy support here. This is support, but the potential for a dump is quite high. So let's look at SPX 500. This is the S&P index. As you can see here, we've been rejected by this trend line 3 times, basically. It's coming back down to support. If you look at it on a weekly, like higher time frames can give you better levels, let's put it that way. And this is the 200-day moving average on the weekly. You can see it's been interacted with on the way up. It's very significant. This COVID dump, this was a run below it, and we spent a few weeks below, and it recovered. As soon as it recovered this, the market was very bullish again. So just because this has been support does not mean that this can't go below. If it goes below, it doesn't mean that the market is over either. But this is an area that probably has a magnet on it right now, which we can get to. It can get there in like a day, honestly. With one bad day, it can end up here. And then you kind of want to see how it interacts around that level. But S&P as well as DXY, this is the dollar index. Dollar is just flying, and this is indicative of people being risk off. This is the risk off metric. Now, it's been in this range for a very long time. It's hard to say when this ends, but it is in a parabola. So wherever this ends, I'm just going to draw this like what you can expect to happen. It will have some sort of blow off most likely, and then dump, and then retest, then make a wave. And then if depending on what this wave does, you know, this is the area where you're going to be like trying to take some risk, I think. But not necessarily at this price. It could be higher. But that being said, you want to see this kind of slow down before you can see that that you know it's really a great time to be risk on. But yeah, that's DXY. The last chart I want to go over is BTC Dominance adjusted. Now, for the newer people that may not even know what BTC Dominance is, that is a chart ratio that reflects Bitcoin versus the rest of the crypto market. And, you know, I used to use this one somewhat religiously. It's BTC.D, but midsummer I stopped using. See, I even have the chart marked off. It used to be quite accurate, but right here is where the chart broke. It stopped working. I'll explain why in a second. But this is telling you what's stronger, Bitcoin or other alts. And clearly this has been in a bear market since here. It will always continue to be because of innovation. I don't see a scenario where Bitcoin is going to go higher than this in relationship, because you just have the addition of stable coins is just so prevalent. And that's kind of what broke this chart. But when this is bullish, you don't want to be in altcoins. It just means that altcoins are going to get wrecked against Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin is bearish and this is bullish, it means your altcoins are going to get twice as wrecked. So you have to keep an eye on this guy. But the chart that I'm using is BTC.D plus USDT.D plus USDC.D. And you can add others in there for even more accuracy. But what this does is it accounts for people selling Bitcoin into stables. Because what was happening in the other one is Bitcoin was dumping, people were selling into stables instead of leaving the market altogether, and it was creating the illusion that alts were stronger than Bitcoin, when you can clearly look at the charts and realize that in that dump in the middle of the summer, alts were definitely not stronger. They were nuking 20-30% while Bitcoin was doing 10%. So I'm looking at this chart and I'm like, the chart is telling me alts are strong, but clearly they're not. Something is wrong, and it was due to stables. So let's look at this guy. I was always looking for this area right here. This is a neckline. See, you have the big dump and like anywhere from this area, but this is what you call a neckline. And picture like to come back around. Often, if you're looking to short something, you short around the neckline. And a lot of the times these can go through slightly, but somewhere up in here is usually where the retest happens. If let's say you're looking at this asset and saying this is bearish, and you get this dump, and then it's putting in a bottom and then starts to recover, you're looking for this asset to come back up here where you can short like somewhere around here and hope for the rejection, right? If it keeps going through, then the chart is clearly not bearish. But this can go all the way up and make a bear flag that then dumps and makes a new low. This is, and you can do this with any chart, but these are necklines. So like you'll notice, like if let's say you're longing Bitcoin, and this was Bitcoin for say, right? It comes back up here. There's usually a ton of excitement in the market at this level, and that's most typically a good area to short and look for, especially in a bear trend. So you could see it like even on lower time frames. When the market's bearish, they're just shorting every neckline. So I'm looking at this, and this move kind of faked me out a bit. I saw the rejection, and I was like, all right, alts are good here, and they were, but now it put in a higher low. This is a good structure. It's starting to look pretty bullish. So what I'm thinking is you're going to get this will either stop here, because this is a neckline, right? Or, well, this is, I don't think it's stopping here. I think it'll either stop around here or it'll go through and somewhere in here. And what that means for alts is that they're going to get fucking wrecked. Oh, pardon me. Trying not to curse. But yeah, they're gonna take a beating most likely, especially if Bitcoin dumps, right? I don't see the scenario where Bitcoin pumps and dominance rises. It's not likely to happen right now. The most probable outcome is that Bitcoin will break down and then this will go up. And in that scenario, you don't want to be in alts. You want to wait for a bottom to be found. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing there. But it's not the end of the world. Like I said, this is the time to grow. You have to stay engaged. It's I'm not that guy that's going to come and tell you that it's all over. You know, like I think it's super counterproductive. It's trendy to say things like that. You get a lot of likes, a lot of followers by being like the doom guy. But the worst thing you can do is be like, oh, it's all over, crypto's all bullshit, like at the bottom. You don't want to be that guy. It's and it can be it's like you get peer pressured, you know what I'm saying? Like when you're around a lot of people that are super negative, like you start to adopt their traits as well. And you know, that's the type of behavior that you will see in bear markets, especially on social media and telegrams. It's extremely pervasive as well as contagious. You know, I got caught up in it too. You become really trolly, just people are just wallowing in misery. And when you start to see that, then you got something. You know you're close. And the way I'm thinking, I miss you guys too. I'm about to get to the comments. I'm just doing my shtick right now, but yeah, I miss you guys. Thanks for tuning in, by the way. I appreciate you all. I miss doing this. Not gonna lie, last night, like when I was firing up the stream, I was a little bit nervous. I was like, damn, I haven't done a stream in a while. And you know, I was nervous and I'm like, fuck, can I still do this? And I set it all up. I was ready to go. And I had the technical difficulties, just like the old days. It's like brand new computer, new setup, and the recordings were going fine. The sound is better, I believe. And I got my nerve together. I'm like, all right, here we go. We're doing it. And you do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, thanks, guys. Okay, so let's see. Let's check the chats. Jay Pizzle, you proud? You probably should stream your workouts on Twitch like an e-thought. Reflex ain't enough in the bear. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if working out and fitness is something you guys are interested in, you know, maybe I'll do something with that. I got a camera. I got a really good. I got the Sony A7 series and the shotgun mic, so I could start doing some vlogging type stuff with that. If fitness is something you guys are interested in, I might definitely show you some things. I could show you some stuff, you know. Yeah, Ovi, shout out to you. Thank you. Appreciate you. You're missing ENS, my dude. Yeah, I did miss ENS. ENS, see? And this is part of networking. Actually, Bob Laxative DM'd me and told me to buy ENS addresses. That he didn't tell me what. He was like, just register the number on your house, register this and that. And like, I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I'm confused. He's like, just do it. And I didn't do it. And it was a big mistake. But you know, this is networking. People have alpha, they share it with you, and it's up to you to stay engaged and act on it. Jay Pizzle's going hard with the trolling. News could Z pump to VB. Yeah, see the people. Oh, so we're talking about the Vitalik's dong pump. I mean, that analysis is extremely. It was extremely accurate. I don't know how you can be critical of it because the fact remains that it was extremely accurate. So, you know, that's like people think that fractals are just comparing one chart to another. It's really more so like the behavior of the market and identifying stuff like that as bizarre and silly as it sounds actually works. So, you know, and I did tell you, you guys at the time, like, yeah, it looks like it's going back to $1,000, like, most likely. So, yeah, speaking of ETH, I mean, might as well look at the chart, right? ETH versus BTC. So, you have this range from September to this is like 2.5 years, right? In here. And yeah, box for you. 2.5 years, and then 1 year here. with a deviation below, rejected at the top again. So this can continue. This doesn't have to full on break down, but especially fundamentally with the merge, as well as, I don't know if you've kept up with like Arthur's blog. I know how he has a very bullish outlook on ETH versus BTC, and I tend to agree with it. But if this breaks out to the upside, like it's gonna flip BTC. So we'll have to see. But that being said, like looking at this, you wouldn't want this guy to break down. Like below here would be quite bad, I think. Like if this isn't the low, like you're probably gonna come back down here and do this again. Then you gotta wait, and this could take another year or two. So like FBTC needs to hold on to this wave. It needs to stay in this range, and if it does, while BTC does its thing, like that's fine. FUSD, however, I mean, it's just gonna follow stocks in Bitcoin. It's clearly more bullish than Bitcoin at this time, but revisiting this area, it'll be interesting to see like what happens, because Bitcoin is already like down here. And if Bitcoin just kind of dumps through and you get that move on BTCD that I'm talking about, like ETH will probably dump even faster. But it'll be interesting to see if this area holds. In the scenario where everything just goes to hell, like SPX breaks the 200 weekly, you get accompanied by some bad news in the world and stuff, and Bitcoin does this, then puts Bitcoin around 10K and ETH around $500. And at that point, you don't have to knife catch it, but once it starts to develop a range there, I think you just put your money in and walk away and wait. Wait it out. Look for other stuff like Sol, for instance. Sol can definitely revisit this box here, like in here, anywhere in here. This is just loaded up. I don't think Sol is going away. One of the things that instead of just talking about, I'm going to be more involved with is NFTs. NFTs really reminded me of 2017 as far as like the ICO bubble. There were so many of like shitty ICOs coming out every day, and a lot of them did end up going to zero, completely worthless. NFTs the same deal, but the pumps were wild. There was like full on euphoria. That was the first time the public was really getting involved with NFTs. So like comparing 17 ICOs to NFTs is a valid comparison in my opinion. I don't see them just going away. I hear people talking about these are beanie babies, these are yada yada. I don't think so. I think they will continue to have a place in the world, and that their impact will actually grow. I'm not sitting here saying I love all the art or any of that shit, but clearly F is still, the number one as far as volume, and a lot of OGs like F. But I think Sol NFTs are definitely worth looking at. They've been more successful than F1s as far as volume and making money, at least in the past few months. Cardano NFTs is something that people are discussing. So, like I said, I just made this decision of the full immersion, somewhat recently. I haven't researched enough, and that's something that I will be researching is Sol and other chains. NFTs on other chains, I think, is worth looking into. Um, Doge chain. Doge chain is something that's worth looking into. You have the potential for meme coins and different stuff to happen on Doge. And when you think about it, like it's known now for like rugging everybody super quickly. Like everybody's like, oh yeah, Doge chain's rugs. And like that's kind of the same reputation Binance Smart Chain had, right? Where people were like most of the people on crypto Twitter and the quote unquote thought leaders, nobody was really playing on Binance Smart Chain, and that's why people miss stuff like Safe Moon and FET and like a lot of coins that did 1000x over there. So I think Doge Chain sets itself up to be a playground for complete degeneracy, which will never stop in crypto. Crypto is just gambling, and when we look at like what's going on in the world, gambling isn't going away. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. You can't watch a sports broadcast without being DraftKings and FanDuel being shoved down your throat. And, even on Sports Center, you have the analysts talking about bets. What bet are they going to take? It's kind of crazy to think about, like, being that the way the world is and the way the economy is and how people's money situation is, like, for them to be pushing so hard for people to gamble is wild. Like, I saw this commercial like 100 times on the last UFC with Kevin Hart was saying, um, it was a Kevin Hart commercial, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I just got to make a $5 bet and I get $200 free. Wow, it's right there." Like, who is that trying to attract? You know what I'm saying? Like, it kind of reminds me of when, Robinhood and these all these different brokers were offering free trades to attract people in. Um, it's the same thing, and you know, crypto is a 24/7 casino, but the odds are slightly better than gambling against Vegas. So I don't think this is going anywhere. But anyway, back to Doge chain. Yeah, yeah. I think you're gonna get some 1000X's on there. So that's something I've been playing with. Uh, what else? What else? What else? What am I missing? Hmm. Yeah, gambling not going away. Uh, yeah, pandas. Yep, The pandas. Shout out to ice bags, but I'm glad that they went up. I mean, they seemed extremely undervalued in my opinion. Um, like they're offering a ton of different perks to being a holder. It's like, why wouldn't you hold one? Why would you hold something else? Um, yeah, Arthur wasn't as bullish. He admitted, like, he had calls for like 3,500 in December. He's like, yeah, maybe I was a little optimistic. He went for it and then he lost, and I respect him for for discussing that. But the thing that he is talking about is how the supply is going to or the sell pressure coming from the switch from proof of work to proof of stake is going to be very, very significant, as well as F continuing to be used. So, you know, uh, I guess I'm just saying, like, this, nothing is over. It's not over. It's just a cycle. It's just a cycle. And you know, you don't need to necessarily look for like regular people to have disposable income to find a bottom. Like, that's not when the bottom comes. The bottom comes when nobody has money and there's only a select few amount of people that position themselves properly that can actually have capital and the balls to act on it. And that's what makes a bottom. I remember the last one, and Bitcoin was $3,000 and I was having to sell it. I sold a hundred F at $99, you know, to pay bills. You're selling out of distress. And speaking of which, crypto mining data center Compute North files for bankruptcy. This is what you want to see when you get close to the bottom, right? You want to see big players go under, not just little people. Everybody's going to feel the pain. And one of the things that I'm looking for also is we did have kind of like our 2008 moment in crypto with Suzu and Celsius and all these people kind of going under, but you didn't really see it in traditional markets. And if things don't get better pretty soon in TradFi, like, there could be big stuff happening, like big companies going under and banks getting hurt, funds getting destroyed, blown up. Like, there's going to be carnage, and like, not just on a retail level. So perhaps that may be what is needed. Um, Airdrop hunt, yeah, Cosmos. That's on my list. It's on my list of things I need to do more research on and get more involved with. Like just let's put it this way. Like, just reading and talking to people about something isn't enough. That's not what I mean by immersing yourself and getting involved. It means having some skin in the game and learning how to use it and utilize it. And you know, so like for Cosmos, I could say all I want, but I'm not like, I don't have like a Cosmos wallet, or I don't even know what you use to get involved with it. I couldn't name a project on Cosmos. So I got to get my shit together. That's so. And shout out to Trading Theory. I saw him in here, but when we were talking about like what hustling means in trading, like, that's the type of hustling that I mean. I don't mean like staring at the 1 minute and like, oh, I'm gonna trade really hard today, and hustle, and I'll trade harder than everybody. You'll get wrecked doing that. What I mean is hustling and watching YouTube videos, listening to podcasts, joining the Telegram group for Cosmos, making friends, talking to people. That's the hustling that actually pays in a bear market. Because I've seen so many people, like, from cycle to cycle, it's like some people just go away and then they come back at the top and they get wrecked again. And then there's other people that, like, they just kind of like organically became very well connected, did their thing, started off humbly and small, and did extremely well. Just by being active, just by being there. Being there is half the battle. So there are going to be times where, you're not going to want to look at your portfolio. You're going to think about all the mistakes you made. Believe me, I made plenty too. It's painful. It's really painful to think about the amount of mistakes that I made myself. And I could have done worse, but, like, for example, I'll be honest with you guys. Like, I had one, two, three, four, just in Q4, like, in a 5-month period at the end of 2021, I had like four different positions that were worth like over $1 million, that were up like huge, like, and in 1 week, three of them like basically went to zero, like in 1 week, you know, and then the other one I was able to take profit on, but I didn't sell the top by any means. And then, like, you have to, like, this is the part about, like, do you want to have a big account? Do you want to make YouTube? Do you want to talk about stuff publicly, or do you want to just be in a non-person doing your thing and riding other people's waves? And I'm not saying one is better than the other, but I made those mistakes. They plagued me. I had to deal with it. And then on top of it, you get, people attack you and they accuse you of, oh, you sold the top and you dumped on us, you use your followers for exit liquidity, when I could very easily prove on the blockchain that that was not the case. I took a fucking horrible drawdown on four different things, over seven figures, like seven figures plus on four separate coins. And then to get trolled on top of it, at this point in the game, I'm completely immune to this because I've been doing it long enough and I just don't freaking care what anybody says. At the end of the day, your obligation is to yourself and your family. It's not to impress people that you've never even met on the other side of the world, or whoever living in their whatever they're doing. You don't need to impress anybody. The only thing you need to do is take care of yourself, like in this market. So, like, as far as me worrying about what people say and trolls and all this and that, I'm completely way beyond that. I've been doing this long enough. And, you know, over time, you're going to be right, you're going to be wrong. And I have no shortages of being wrong. However, you can't just say, oh, you were wrong about this, and then not say, hey, how many times I was right. So, at the end of the day, I hope it balances itself out. I want to try to help you guys out as much as possible. That does come from my heart. Right now, I'm like, don't have this huge audience, so it's much easier to do and to be accurate, and I look forward to it. But I'm just gonna turn it over to comment section, and then we're gonna jump off. I think I covered a lot today, right? Lots of alpha here. I completely agree. We missed these slides. Oh, thanks. Yes, Joshua Livingston, legend, good dude. What, airdrop and hunt it all? Yeah, of course. Like, airdrops, that's just part of being active in crypto. You don't, if you're not paying attention, you miss free airdrops. I missed the 1-inch airdrop. I missed the Uniswap airdrop. These were all 5-figure airdrops, sometimes more. Which one did I catch? I had ENS, I had Lux, or no, Lux wasn't an airdrop. I had ENS, I had some other ones. Yeah, if you guys liked enjoyed this stream, please let me get some likes, comment, let me know what I could do better. Is this a bad time for people? If there's a specific day and time, I was thinking about doing